Yeah, let's get into this. Something light here.
Actually, you also said that men need to be more present fathers. It's actually my father that encouraged me to pursue a higher education. It said that would make me more desirable if I ever took.
Your dad told you getting education would make you more desirable?
Yes, he did.
Oh man, he was lying to you, man.
Right, I will say he was lying to you because he's probably a cuck and a simp. But most dads try to raise their daughters like sons, so it's okay.
He wasn't.
He was lying to you.
One last thing, Myron, you're saying that
Education does not make women more attractive at all.
That's
a big feminist lie.
Men need to get money and get ripped, and then they'll get a woman. How come you aren't married if you have this humongous platform and you have all this money? How come you can't maintain a stable and healthy monogamous relationship, or even a polyamorous?
He did. That's what I'm saying. Like, everybody's like, Angie left you. Why? She didn't. Well, one, she has not came out and said, I just left and said, fuck Myron, I don't like this guy. She hasn't came out and said that either. So it's like, I don't know why people think she just said, fuck Myron, I'm leaving. Like, she could have just left and said, I don't want to. But the whole reason she left is because she wanted a family. And Myron said no. So she didn't really leave. Myron really left her.
Relationship. How come everyone you date ends up leaving you?
Okay, let me ask you this question. Are you fucking guys?
No.
You're not. Why not?
Because I don't feel like it.
You don't feel like it. Would it be fair to say that you're picky and you're selective on who you have sex with?
Isn't everyone selective?
Well,
it's
not
a
for
personal
men,
preference.
No, that's fine. So it's your personal preference who you have sex with, right?
Sure.
Okay. Wouldn't it be fair to say that women are the gatekeepers to sex?
No. Because someone can physically overpower you and have sex anyways.
Okay.
Oh my God, here we go with the grape. Oh my God. Somebody could just overpower you. No, we're talking about normal life, bitch. God damn it.
Outside of the exception, which is rape, I'm talking about like in a consensual encounter, women control access to sex.
What if a woman desires a man more? Wouldn't that man be the gatekeeper then? It depends on the dynamic. You're saying in general terms.
In most situations, who is the gatekeeper to sex?
Depends on the most desirable person in the dynamic.
Okay.
See how she just likes to move the goalposts. GG's.
Earlier you said that you think that men should be able to cheat. I actually think that adulterers should be hung in the streets. I don't. Maybe at worst, life in prison. But I don't. Especially if you have children involved. I think no matter who's doing the cheating and the person who is like if you're getting with someone who's married and you're single, you should also be punished in that sense. This isn't what I wanted to Kim say, but I wanted to hear your thoughts about that.
Well, my thoughts are on this. Now, if you want to be monogamous I'm assuming you're coming from a religious perspective, right?
I am, yeah.
So, if you want to be monogamous for religious purposes and it's a choice, that's different. But my thing is, a lot of guys cope. They're monogamous by force because they're afraid of their girlfriend leaving them or their wife. So, they end up being at her beck and call and they're terrified to lose her. My thing is, I want guys to be in a position where they can choose to be monogamous. And unfortunately, most men don't have that privilege. They're hanging on, to their relationship. By
a thread, like, please don't. I swear, I promise.
Right? Skin of their teeth. So that's my issue. I want guys to be monogamous by choice, not by force.
Okay. And what I really wanted to come up here and talk to you about is you mentioned earlier about repealing the 19th, and you think that men are granted the right to vote by birth and women should earn it. I actually think we should be more restrictive about that. I think that not everyone...
The right to vote?
Yeah, even if you're a man, I don't think you should necessarily be granted the right to vote. I think, like you said, you need to have skin in the game, and I wanted to know if you share that
you could
opinion.
have them take a civics test or something like that. But
sure, I like that.
My bottom line is like, for men... Cool, we could put parameters in there or whatever. My main thing is like I just don't think women should have the automatic, ability to vote right off rip like they do right now, where they have no responsibility over. They have authority, but they don't have any responsibility to armed services.
Would you like to chat about where we should draw the line for just anyone for the right to vote?
I would say for men, you can implement maybe a civics test, maybe a year or two of mandatory military service. There's different things that you can do that you can explore.
What about people like that who still don't have as much of a stake in society, or they benefit from the degradation of society, even if they pass their civics test and they do their...
All right, so what parameters did you want to instill?
I believe that you you should have children as a parameter to vote because you already invested in the future of the society if you have a child, at least one. I think that you should have land as well. If you don't have a child, you should have a business, not necessarily land, but a business with at least 2 employees. And I think military service is a big one. If you're willing to voluntarily go into the military, I think that should give you the right to vote. But I don't think that everyone should have the right to vote.
I agree. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, putting parameters on it, because there's a lot of dudes that are retards too. Yeah. But again, I'm starting like at base level 0.
Base level, yeah, because that's
obviously
where we are right
you can
now.
build up from there and add parameters on the male side too. But the point I'm trying to say is like at bare 0, like it shouldn't be women have the right to vote right there alongside a guy. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Okay. I agree with that. And one
So
more
two
thing.
niggas that agree.
9/11.
Saudi Arabia, U.S., and Israel.
Oh, it was, it was a combination of different entities, right? Like, I know a lot of people want to say, the Jews did it. Like, that's a bit disingenuous and, omits quite a bit of fact. It was a combination of the U.S. government, obviously Al-Qaeda, Israeli intelligence, and the billionaire class, right? It was multiple people working, whether compartmentalized or, unbeknownst to each other or known, and ended up happening. And, there's obviously a lot of evidence for this. But I think the topic that always gets omitted when we talk about 9/11 is the Israeli intelligence angle that no one ever wants to talk about.
Okay. Thank you for your time.
No worries, man.
Yep. Not a bad questions, not bad questions at all. Appreciate brother for coming up.
Yo, what's up, Myron?
Yo.
I have a quick question. So you were talking about earlier when you clarified that if you were going to be the president, you kind of like measure people by their IQ to see like what roles they would fill out. Correct. I was here like later while you're in mid sentence. So I just want you to clarify what you meant by that.
Yeah, I was fucking around, man.
All right. Well, then I'll go move over to the next topic. So what do you agree with like the two party system? Do you think like a third party system would be able to win a presidency like the Green Party or Libertarian at some point?
Well, both parties don't really serve us, right? Like,
Yeah.
Democrats are faggots.
God damn it.
Republicans are owned by Jews.
I mean, Dems are owned by them too.
And, independents a lot of the times are just, they tend to not have enough, pull to actually win an election. So we'll see what happens. But, I think aligning with any party nowadays is kind of, retarded.
Yeah,
I was just about to say
like,
that.
for example, like the British
might just
Parliament,
be a
even though
little
they do have
retarded
parties,
if
they
you're
do
doing
have
that.
many parties that are able to like kind of even everything out. Versus here, we have the two-party system that's just completely faulty and outdated.
Yeah, very, very outdated because obviously society's changed quite a bit, so it's not necessarily as black and white, right? I would argue like, most people tend to be, they'll be right-wing on some issues or they'll be left-wing on some other ones, right? Maybe, culturally they'll be right-wing, but then politically they'll be left-wing. Like, it depends. Yeah. Everyone's different. But I do think that the two-party class system that we have doesn't really serve us in the best light, and we're seeing that, right? Like Trump literally campaigned on no new wars, and what's he doing? He started a fucking war with Iran, which is retarded.
So to build with that, knowing what you know today about everything that's going on, would you, going back to the election, would you vote for Trump or would you pick Kamala Harris, knowing what you know today?
There's no way I would have voted for Kamala Harris. No way.
And
she's so incompetent and retarded. Like,
Yeah.
even though I don't like what Trump is doing, he was still a far better candidate.
Bro, when I mean Kamala couldn't even make a fucking sentence, I'm like, damn, bitch, like, did you not rehearse before you came in here? Then they asking her questions. I forgot the quote she used to always say. And you know how I know how all of US is together. Like, she's a funny one.
And she actually wrote in her book how like me and Andrew Tate kept her from winning, which is pretty dope. But yeah, like I would have never voted for Kamala.
So do
you
you
can't
think
have a female president, man.
Yeah. So, do you think moral standpoint is outside of politics? Because obviously we know what everything that Donald Trump's did in the Epstein files versus Kamala Harris's policies just like don't align with what you view with. Are you going to take the moral high ground and vote for someone who you think is a less political candidate, or are you going to like get rid of the morals and just go for who you think is going to lead the country better?
I think you got to go for whoever's going to be the better candidate, right? Like I know a lot of people vote on like their feels.
Yeah.
But realistically speaking, I think it's best to put the guy in, or the guy, not the woman, but put the guy in that's going to be the best candidate for the job and get the most stuff done.
But don't you think there's levels to it? Like the fact that it's not just like, oh, he like called someone like a racial slur. The fact that he's been accused by 40, 50 woman raping. He's deep in the Epstein files. He's deep into the Jewish area. I mean, like, you got to look at like what he's in.
Yeah, that's a problem, but I still wouldn't vote for Kamala.
Is it because purely because she's a woman, or purely?
Well, that's a part of the reason, but she's also incredibly incompetent, and we already saw her body of work under Biden, and she literally said, "Oh, if I became," they asked her, "What would you change? Would you change anything?"
Guys, just think about this. Kamala brought out Megan Thee Stallion for the black people. Okay, think about all the people she could have brought out. She brought out Megan Thee Stallion,
and she pretty much said no when she was on The View. That was actually what fucked her up. Yeah. So, again, I'm not happy with Trump with what's going on right now, but I still think he was a way better candidate than Kamala Harris.
Okay. And one last question: do you think prejudice has a good in today's society at all? Like, do you think it does have any benefit?
I think. Okay, so I think being biased, prejudiced, or racist to a degree is actually higher IQ, and I'll tell you why. It's pattern recognition, right? So. And a lot of the times, and there's nothing wrong with that. Like, yeah, well, like I think we put so much stake on people's feelings versus like reality, and there's nothing wrong with just being painfully blunt and putting people in boxes. Like, that's just how the world works. Like, as human beings, we don't have time to get to know everybody, see what their moral character is or whatever else like that. Like, a lot of the times, from a survival instinct perspective, you just see somebody, if they come off a little weird, okay, let me just avoid this problem, right? There's a reason why God gave us these senses where you get that, that knot in your stomach, or your heart sinks.
We gotta celebrate our differences.
So, I don't think that there's anything wrong with being biased or prejudiced or racist to some degree, because a lot of times it's rooted in fact. I'll give you an example. I don't want to live in a black neighborhood. I don't think anybody does.
Okay.
And anyone here that says that they want to live in a black neighborhood is fucking lying to themselves and everybody else here. And there's nothing wrong.
And it'd be so funny because it'd be like all the black niggas be like, "Oh my God, he said he don't want to live in a black neighborhood. Why would he say that?" And don't none of them niggas live in a black neighborhood.
Perfect. Admitting that, because we know that on a balance of probabilities, not every single black neighborhood, but a lot of them, you're going to be probably mugged or be involved or in the middle of some kind of crime, or it's going to be a high crime area. And there's nothing wrong with saying that out loud, right?
So I want to build on that you said that they have a higher IQ to a prejudice to some degree. So you stated pattern recognition. So
it's a component of IQ.
Yeah, of course. But I'm saying, like, pattern recognition, if you're looking at someone who's not around, for example, like a predominantly white neighborhood, goes to college, for example, in a predominantly black neighborhood, do you think they're automatically going to have some sort of prejudice because that's not their environment that they're around, and that's also an example of pattern recognition?
I'm a little confused by your question.
So I'm saying, like, you're saying pattern recognition is an example of higher IQ.
Yes.
Right? Okay.
It's a component. It's not the entire.
Yeah, of course. But I'm saying, like, the reason why they get the pattern recognition is because that's the environment that they're around. For example, if you're around a low crime rate environment that has like higher white percentage, you're obviously going to be more comfortable around white folk versus if you're around a black neighborhood, you're going to be more comfortable around black people.
Of course, your experiences are always going to help you formulate your worldview.
Okay.
Right. Of course, and there's always going to be exceptions and differences and everything is nuanced and exceptions don't make the rule.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying in general, right, is most people probably don't want to live in a predominantly black neighborhood because on a balance of probabilities, it's probably going to be higher crime rate, unfortunately.
Okay.
Right. Does that mean every single one is?
No, of course
not.
Yeah.
But a lot of them are.
Okay.
So
Some
people
niggas
aren't going to gamble with the chance, and I don't think that should be. I don't think there's a problem with admitting that.
Okay.
I'm trying to tell you, it's them niggas. There's black people because it's only like 10% of us. There's black people and then there's niggas. But like I said, it's only like 10% of us, guys. It's not too many black people out there that got some sense. It's nothing but niggas running around, all right? Because they ain't got no daddies. Everybody being raised by their ghetto ass mama who work at racetrack and McDonald's.